Welcome to episode 96 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent. As always, I'm joined by Jason. How are you doing?
I'm great. What's going on?
Well, I think what's going on is Eddie Veliz of Kyng is in the house tonight.
He joins us
today, or whenever you're listening to this.
That's right. He joins us for a most comfortable interview.
That's true. We'll get to that. What that means here in a bit.
Of course.
96, so in our typical dork fashion, what happened in year 96?
Oh, man.
Stomp 442.
Osmosis.
There you go.
The Great Southern Trend Kill.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Poison went platinum.
Poison went platinum in 96?
Yeah, that's when 86 to 96, the greatest hits of Poison came out, and they shocked everybody by going platinum.
Well, there you
with
go.
The greatest hits album in the midst of the alternative years.
That shows you the power of Poison.
Yeah.
Yep. Dog him if you want. You can't deny him.
The Jacksonville Jaguars stunned the Broncos in the playoffs.
Oh, God.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I've hated the Jaguars for 20 years now.
And
Mark Brunell can suck my nuts.
Oh, man, to take a line from Abraham.
Right.
And, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong, but it seems like 1996 was when we started doing the Thunder Underground fanzine.
That's a good point, is it?
I think so.
Was it 96 or 95? I think you're right.
I feel like it was 96 because
Yeah.
I remember us working on it and listening to like Osmosis and shit.
Right.
I mean, who knows, you know, where your memory takes you, but I think that's how it went down.
Yeah, we're getting deep here into the episodes, but, you know, early on in this, we talked about the fact that we started this thing as basically like a fanzine in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And we just printed up basically paper copies of our reviews and
Yep.
of concerts and albums, and us just bitching about, you know, Smashing Pumpkins being popular and Anthrax not, you know, basically stuff like that.
And it was kind of in like a newsletter type kind of form.
Yeah.
And we'd run these fuckers off and go put them at Starship.
And
Mohawk Music and just kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That's kind of how it started.
So 20 years old this year.
That's right. Congratulations, Trent.
Well, thank you. Same to you.
All right.
Well, like we said, we got Eddie Veliz from Kyng coming up. We're going to talk about that. What else we got to talk about? We saw Black Sabbath.
Yes, we did.
Right about a week ago.
Yeah, we could go tonight.
Yeah, or yesterday.
That's right, yesterday.
Anyway.
Yeah.
By the time you've heard this now, Black Sabbath has played their final show in America.
Yes.
And second to final show, I guess you'd call it, was Tulsa. We got the chance to go out there. We recorded a review reaction on YouTube. You know, it's a full 20, 25 minute review of the show. So get on our YouTube channel, subscribe at The Thunder Underground. There's other stuff up there and there'll be more to come, but hear all about Black Sabbath there. We'll talk here in just a minute about it, but
yeah.
I mean, you can't deny Black Sabbath. We know that. If you're listening to this podcast, you likely like them. If you don't, that's kind of weird. But yeah, whatever. So both of us had seen them a few times prior to this. This is the first time, though, since the early 2000s. And it was just as fantastic as it ever was.
I'd agree.
Because the thing is, you know what Geezer and Tony Iommi are going to bring. They're always going to bring
Yes.
pure metal power. My thing was always wondering, how Ozzy's going to be, because sometimes throughout the years it's been a little off. It's never been bad. It's not Vince Neil we're talking about, but it's just been a little subpar at times. But, all the reviews and stuff I'd seen on YouTube with Sabbath over the last couple of years, it's been great. And then seeing him live, it was as great as I ever remember seeing him.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal that it's at that point in his career and he's sounding good,
Yeah, I mean, and that was one thing, the main thing I was focusing on was how was Ozzy going to sound, and he sounded great. I mean, everything was as it should have been. He hit all the notes. I mean, he didn't, there was no flub ups, there was nothing. I mean, he was on it, and it was really good. It sounded good from where I was at. I really, like I said, it was a well put together set list. I really enjoyed the set list. Geezer's bass solo was badass.
Right.
As it should be.
Iommi's guitar solo was badass during Dirty Women.
Yeah, it was for sure. And it was just a great night, and the sound was great, and it was, I was, way up there. I got tickets last minute, because for a while, I just didn't want to go. It wasn't Bill Ward, it wasn't the whole thing, so I was like, I don't know, but I eventually just gave in and did it, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no denying we wish Bill Ward was there, but like I talked about in that video, Tommy Clufettos, he fit in perfectly. He didn't, I don't think he really even played in the same style as Bill Ward, and he just brought some energy to it, which is not like they needed energy, but I mean, the way he plays is just constant power.
Yeah.
That really came through, and I like the fact that he wasn't just a dude back there filling in to where, a hired gun and you don't really, he wasn't obviously in the promo pictures or anything, because why would he be? But when he's there on stage, he stands out just as much as the other three do, which is impressive because you're talking about three of the biggest icons in metal history.
That's right, yeah, and he hung in there.
Yeah.
He had a crushing drum solo. I mean, you can't say anything bad. It was he did a great job, and he looked pretty menacing, he looked pretty like he was really concentrating. And, he had just as big a part as the other guys. So, it was a good addition.
Yeah.
And we've seen him with Bill Ward a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that was amazing, so, so it kind of sucked, that they're going out, on this kind of note and they're not having Bill Ward, but what do you do? It is what it is. So you just enjoy it, and it was fun. It was great.
Yeah. We rambled about that on an episode before, so we need to do it here. But,
oh, yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the set list, Hand of Doom, Into the Void, Dirty Women, After Forever.
Yeah.
Were all just fantastic additions, stuff that obviously isn't, at the top of a lot of, your average rock fans.
Yeah.
Minds when they think of Black Sabbath. So it's great that they got all this stuff in there as well to go with the big time hits.
Oh, exactly. I mean, and that's the thing is you got all the hits, and then you got some good, just like fan favorites and some album cuts, Behind the Wall of Sleep, Hand of Doom. I mean, it was cool, man. It was cool.
Yeah. And you can't, another time, I just want to throw in, we saw him with Mike Borden.
Yeah.
Which to me was fantastic because he's one of my favorite drummers.
Yeah.
And so there's a random note for you. But anyway, yeah, and we didn't mention Rival Sons opened this thing, and we had talked about this, and both of us have been fans of these guys since they came out, but it's just kind of like a casual fan. Like, we like the music, they're great. They've never been in our area where we've seen them live. So to finally see them live, to me, really put it over the top. I went from being just like, oh, those guys are cool, to thinking, man, I really want to see these guys again, get more into them, because kind of the same way they had a presence on stage, especially the singer and the guitarist, both just exemplified what they're trying to do, which is, they even said, we're a rock and roll band. That's how they describe themselves.
Yeah. And
they really exemplify that 70s just swagger, that Led Zeppelin style rock and roll.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, kind of like, I agree with what you said, we're casual fans, but now I really want to, sink my teeth into them.
Yeah.
Pressure and Time is just a fucking amazing song. That grabbed me from the get-go. What was it? Almost, 7-8 years ago when we first heard it.
Has it been that long?
I don't know, however long. I know they've got a few records, so there's some kind of time span there.
Yeah.
But I've listened to every record they put out, but never really got super into it. So I'm gonna make time for that now.
Yeah, definitely. And I really hope that this helps them. Being on this whole tour for over a year now.
Yeah.
Which is great that Sabbath's doing this with a upcoming band rather than getting some. Like I said on the YouTube thing, they could get anybody they wanted.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Some legendary act could open for Black Sabbath and it would just be normal. But it's cool that they didn't do that because they don't need help, promoting their show. So
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully this helps the Rival Sons and in the, you know, gain some popularity because, you know, it's not really the type of music that you're going to hear on active rock radio.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, hey, you know, it already perked our ears up. So
yeah,
maybe it is helping, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of something I want to say. I didn't really go into on the YouTube video, but I really liked it. It was just Sabbath and one other band.
Yeah.
I sometimes when bands, even at an arena level or a club level, when they're packing like 7 bands on a bill, you know, like 3 bands that are on tour with them and then like 3 more locals. It's just a little crazy sometimes, you know, and the show starts at goddamn 6 in the evening. You know, nothing against local bands at all. I mean, we love them and we need them. We support them, but sometimes those bills just get a little bit, it's like too much, you know?
Yeah.
And so I really like when it's just the main band and maybe one opener. So I really dug that aspect of the show.
Yeah. Well, like we mentioned YouTube a few times, we're The Throne Underground, all one word. That's our YouTube channel. So subscribe on there. We've got that. And we've got a review we did on Avenged Sevenfold's new album, The Stage, which is really good. We've done reviews on each of the new Metallica singles that had come out. And then, of course, here in like 2 days, the new Metallica album hits.
Dude, I'm stoked.
I know you're stoked.
I am stoked. I can't wait. I pre-ordered the vinyl deluxe, you know, whatever with the, you know, all kinds of whatever shit in it, you know, buttons and a lithograph and a CD and, you know, a Metallica tampon. I don't know what else is going to be in it, but I ordered it. And I'm hoping it shows up a little early, maybe, you know?
Yeah, sometimes those pre-orders get to you a day early.
I know. I'm hoping it shows up on that doorstep. So I am pumped. And, you know, I know that, you know, if I really did some digging, I could probably find the album, you know?
Yeah.
But I just don't want to do that. I want it to be a surprise, you know?
Right.
You know, November 18th is like Christmas Day to me. And I can't wait.
Yeah, really looking forward to that because, you know, all 3 of those singles that have come out are all great. So you can only imagine that the other 7 or 8 songs are going to be great as well.
Yep. I mean, I'm super excited. I want you to know, I want you to look at this, how I'm feeling right now. When new Guns N' Roses comes out, this is how you're going to feel.
You think that's going to happen?
I think it will. It might be a year or 2. I think they've got some touring to do still, but I think it'll happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you're going to feel this way, Trent. Don't feel bad. Don't feel left out. Your time will come.
Right. Well, I understand. I felt that way whenever Faith No More put out their new album last year.
Yeah, no shit.
For the first time in 18 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going to feel that way this coming, you know, early next year or whenever COC puts out the album with Pepper.
Yep.
But yeah, I understand that that's the next level.
That's right.
How you feel about Metallica or how I feel about Guns N' Roses. So.
Yeah. Well, and you know, here we go. You know, you said we could go off here a little bit, so fucking I'm going to go off. You know, I know that Guns N' Roses is your favorite band. Now, in the whole of all the bands you like where is Metallica in that? Is it like number 4 or number 8 or where would you say?
Man, I don't know. Probably in the teens or something.
Really, in the teens?
Yeah.
Man, I'm kind of hurt, dude.
Because, I mean, I've got...
That's all right, though.
You know, the top 3, Guns N' Roses and Faith No More and Tesla. And then after that, it's Anthrax and Pantera. And then you get into anything Zakk Wylde's part of.
Yeah.
Or, Megadeth.
Yep.
It's probably a step above Metallica for me. And then... Yeah, well, probably around 10 then.
10?
Because you know, there's a few other people that are up there big, you know, high. Like, you know, Motley Crue's fairly high.
Yeah.
But I get so pissed about aspects of Motley Crue, which, you know, we're not going to get into.
Yes, no kidding. That's a whole other episode.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I'd say 10 at the lowest, 15.
Okay. Okay, I can accept that.
Yeah. I'll have a number for you when we do our Metallica review.
Okay. Which is coming.
Coming soon.
Yes.
Yes, like we said, at The Thunder Underground on YouTube is where you'll hear that. And of course, once it's out, we'll talk about it probably on the next episode as well.
Yes.
Well, speaking of concerts, before we went to Kyng, or am I saying this? No, actually, we went back and forth.
We did. We kind of went back and forth.
Yeah, we went to Kyng and then talked to Eddie for a bit.
Of course, yeah.
Then we saw a little bit of Blackwater Rebellion. Then we went over to who we've seen a few times. Check them out. Cody Slane's been on this podcast. Check that out. Then we went over to the Shrine here in Tulsa because there was another show going on with Tracy Guns, and he had a few local bands opening up for him that we wanted to check out.
Of course.
One, of course, is Fist of Rage, who we've championed quite a bit.
Yes, and will continue to champion.
Right. And then Driver was there. Unfortunately, that was going on while we were talking to Eddie.
Yeah.
But we saw Doxy, Drunk on Monday, and Fist of Rage.
Yeah.
And I really liked all three. I thought all three, was cool, and we know what Driver does, so I think it's cool. It's another one of those things where all four bands are all hard rock, metal, fit that bill, but they all brought something a little bit different to the table.
Yeah, exactly.
And, Doxy's got that cool throwback 80s style, just a real kind of, I don't know, I know you don't like to ask for fans of type thing, but don't really want to compare them to something, but, it's that the heavier sided 80s rock.
Yeah.
Kind of like we talked about with like Death Grip or something. But, so that was really cool to see. And then that was Charlie Ledford's final show, as with anyone, because he had left Searching for Sanity and split up recently, and this was the other band he's in. So wish him well in whatever he decides to do, and hopefully down the line he decides to play drums again.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we saw Drunk on Monday, who we had not seen yet, and that was really cool to see. Eric Smith, who actually runs Vit Screen Printing, who printed our Thunder Underground shirts.
That's right. And if you want one of those, hit us up.
Yes.
$15.
Yes. And if you've got a band and you need t-shirts, hit up Vit Screen Printing.
Yes.
Great stuff. He prints for a lot of the bands in the Oklahoma City area. Great guy. So it's great to finally see his band. To finally be able to see him live was really cool. He just got that real kind of gnarly, gritty voice.
Yeah, I thought his voice was great. I love the vocals.
Yeah. And that's what really jumped out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just check these guys out if you get a chance, just they're on Facebook, Drunk on Monday, just like Doxy is. We're going to, we had talked to them about coming on the show, so you should see Drunk on Monday coming down the line on the Thunder Underground podcast.
Yes.
And then, of course, we saw Fist of Rage, and guess what? We saw Fist of Rage again last night.
That's right.
Opening for Trapped. Or should I say that Trapped just went on after Fist of Rage?
Exactly.
That's what it was.
Exactly. They Trapped cooled the crowd off.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, Fist of Rage, what can you say? We've said it. We've said it all.
I know what I can say is they kick ass, and I love that band. I love all four of those motherfuckers. And they always put on a fun show.
Yeah. And yeah, what I like that you said that, because, we've, a lot of the bands we've talked about or we've had on the podcast, some of the times it's like one member, so we kind of got to know one member or two. But with Fist of Rage, they've all just kind of, kind of like Severmind did or something where they just all four came out. They're all four strong personalities and they great humans. Yeah. So it's great to go to these shows and hang out with them, have a beer or something.
Yeah.
So look up Fist of Rage. And if you're from the Tulsa area, hopefully you've seen them by now. They've been around for quite a while. This current lineup's been going, actually just this year, but I don't see it going anywhere. So
that's right. And you never know what Andy's going to be dressed as.
Yeah.
Or what he's going to have on.
Yeah.
But it's always entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's always a surprise.
That's right.
Yep. Well, then, before we get to Kyng, I want to say there's some other great shows coming up around this area.
Yes.
Like, actually, tomorrow night in Fayetteville, Arkansas, at JR's, Scattered Hamlet, who was our guest last week. That's a great episode, all four members.
Definitely.
We saw a great show. We talked about all that. But they're playing that JR's with Scorned out of Arkansas, who Cody Slane is also the singer of that band, and Motortrain from Oklahoma. And this will be Motortrain's final show.
Yes.
So not only is it a great time to go see Scattered Hamlet, as it always is, and Scorned, But if you're in this area and you got the chance to get over there, go check out Motortrain. It's sad to see him go, but, I would hope that I'm just going to keep doing something. These guys might be doing something on their own. Maybe we'll see them together. I don't know the story.
Yeah.
I'm just sad to see him go, but hope you guys get out there to see him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely check it out. Motortrain is badass. I saw them back in May, and I fucking loved it. It was really hate to see him go, but these things happen, and I'm sure we'll see something going on in some form or another down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Saturday at Billy and Renee's, Screaming Red Mutiny and Blackwater Rebellion are playing. Yeah. So that's another great time. I know that Machine in the Mountain, some other great guys, great instrumental progressive metal band is playing at Downtown Lounge Saturday night as well, November 19th.
Gotcha.
Then jumping forward a couple weeks, we've got Crowbar with Goat Whore.
Oh, man.
And then both of Kyle Williams' bands, Forever Disgust and Smoke Offering.
Yep.
December 3rd at the Shrine.
Yep. And
I mean, that's a metal lineup.
No shit. Less Than Humans opening up.
Oh, are they? Seriously?
Yeah, they're playing too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. So, yeah, that's one of the times that 5 bands on the bill is okay with you.
Yeah, that is. I'll retract my previous statement for that. That's going to be one hell of a night, and it's a damn shame you're going to miss it.
I haven't said I'm going to miss it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay. We'll see.
We shall.
Yeah. And we got Henry Rollins making the rounds on his spoken word tour. We're going to try to hit one of those. He's playing Springfield and Wichita, and I think in this area of the country, I think he's doing Kansas City and maybe Dallas or Little Rock. So there's several chances around here to get out there and see him. I know the Springfield, Missouri show is on the weekend on November 26th.
Okay.
So hopefully we get the chance to get out there. If you've never seen Henry Rollins' spoken word, it's phenomenal. It's just, it doesn't matter. He talks about politics. He talks about music. He talks about everything. And, his politics, he leans a little left, but even if you're not into that, he's pretty fair about the shit he rips on. So don't be afraid to go. And, he's got great stories. Like he did a stand-up, at Vakken this past year where it was like 45 minutes of him talking about nothing but Lemmy, and it felt like it was 5 minutes long.
Exactly. Yeah. And his voice is even cracking and stuff, and he still just kept going.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you get with Henry Rollins' spoken word is, makes you think. There's a lot of laughs, and it's like stand up plus more.
Yeah.
And it's, you kind of think, man, I'm going to sit here for an hour and a half and just listen to some guy talk on the stage. But I mean, believe me, you're entertained. You're engaged. It's something that everyone needs to experience.
Yeah. Yeah. When's the last time that we've seen him?
It was,
is that one in Oklahoma City?
Yes. I think in 2005.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so. And that was a really good one. At the, it was some Coca-Cola something or other. It's something different now.
Oh, that Bricktown Live Event Center.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we'd also seen him in Stillwater at Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. And then, where was that other one before that? I can't remember.
TU.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we saw him last year at Riot Fest.
Oh, right.
With the West Memphis 3 panel.
Yeah, that was great.
That was
completely different.
Yeah, it was. It was a complete honor to watch that.
Yeah.
It was a privilege.
Yeah, we had an episode, man, that's been over a year now ago.
Mm-hmm.
Where go look at our look up our Riot Fest review episode. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Because that was just a really cool experience to see him up there with, the West Memphis 3 and then, some of the people that are involved with it. And then
That's right.
Thurston Moore and some other random musicians, to talk about it. So that was really cool. But I think we've rambled enough. It's time to talk about some Kyng.
Yes.
So yeah, after we saw that, that Tracy Gunn show, we bailed out after Fist of Rage and went back to see Kyng because that's what we had to do.
That's right.
And
that's what we had to do.
They're playing Downtown Lounge. So first I want to say, if you're from the Tulsa area and you don't know about Downtown Lounge, shame on you.
Yeah.
I talked to someone recently, like a friend of mine, I'm not going to name names. It's like maybe a month or two ago. I mentioned a show. I'm like, hey, did you see so-and-so's coming to Downtown Lounge? He's like, no, I didn't. What's Downtown Lounge? And I told him, and they were like floored that there's a heavy metal bar in Tulsa.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, it's been there the bar's been there forever. It used to be called something else.
Dead Town.
Yeah, it's been like 6 or 7 years. It's been Downtown Lounge. Like, how do you people not know? And it's like, regardless, it's great to have a heavy metal bar, and Jake, the owner, does a great job of just bringing in badass bands all the time, like Kyng, and then like War Beast was like a couple days after that.
Insight.
Yeah. Just when we've seen tons of other shows there.
Yeah.
We
saw Crosby there.
Freaking Wino.
Spirit Caravan. I mean, Jake's really got a good thing going on down there, and that's the thing is we're downtown. Even if there's not a show, well, where do you want to go? Downtown Lounge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the place to just go hang out.
Yeah.
But it's an intimate place to see a show. It's got, it's a cool setup.
And
it sounds great.
Yeah, it never sounds bad.
Yeah, it can get loud, but it still sounds great.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's nothing, get your ass over there. Well, anyway, we saw Kyng. So we've seen Kyng before, but the times we've seen him before have been at festivals.
Yeah.
And it's been, outside short sets.
Or Dime Bash or whatever.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But same thing, short set.
Yeah.
So to be able to see a headline set in a tiny little club was really cool.
Yeah, just in your face. And, it's a band that, has really come up on our radar in the last 3 or 4 years. And we've both, I think, really taken a liking to. And, to see an up and coming band and one that we're so familiar with, just up front in your face and just, a no holds barred like that was just, it was amazing. And it was loud as fuck, but it wasn't like, it didn't sound bad. It was great. It really was.
Yeah, it's always great to see a 3-piece that, just sounds powerful as hell.
Yeah.
And all 3 of these guys, are just bringing it. And, just like Pepe on the drums is just, it was hard to like pay attention to the other 2 at times because, he's just so, bringing it so much,
And like on Pristine Warning when it gets real fast.
Yeah.
That's just like, God, how's that guy fucking doing that?
Right.
And it's just like a machine, dude.
Yeah.
It's a machine. And Eddie, he's got these, sometimes he'll get into some crazy passages on the guitar and he's fucking singing at the same time. That's just, it's,
and he's
it's
not
great.
he's not just putting vocals out there. He's fucking singing.
Yeah. And we get into that in this interview about clear vocals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Cause these guys get, lumped into the stoner rock kind of genre, which, fair enough.
Yeah.
The stuff, has that vibe, that sound. But I think we talked about it in an interview actually, like, of the 3 out, this is my favorite album of the 3.
Yeah.
The new one.
Yeah.
I love the other 2, but it's just because it kind of, is a little bit broader in the points it reaches.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sounds like it's kind of opened them up to, like we've talked about with some bands over time, like they're setting, like you've talked about with Lamb of God. It's like they set themselves up to like move in a broader direction for the future.
And it's in a natural way. It's not like we need to start doing this so we can get here, so we can attain. Oh man,
no,
you said it.
Not the All That Remains way.
Yeah. Well, those 2 are never going to be on the podcast.
I'm going to erase that In Flames part because I really want them on here.
But, that's the cool thing about Kyng is, they go tour with fucking Papa Roach and then they go tour with Clutch. And it's not it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, wow, we need to start sounding like this so we can get this. That's their appeal and that's their sound and what they want to do. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a lot of bands that have this musical sound don't really have, well, like you mentioned, the vocals that soaring kind of vocals, and I think that's
Yeah.
what sets them apart from everyone else.
Yeah.
So, Breathe in the Water is the new album. Been out like a little over a month, and it's candidate for, everyone's top 10 in my opinion.
Of course.
You got to check it out.
Yeah. And now, what were we saying about the comfortable part?
Comfortable part
of the interview?
Oh yeah, well, we actually talk about it here coming up.
That's right, we do.
But yeah, we looking for a spot to do it. He decided to do it in the van, and he just decided to lay down. And as I ask him here, you were listening to Eddie Veliz's first ever interview where he laid down in person.
It's history, people. History.
Yeah, it's like those weird, stats they give you in baseball that you don't care about.
Exactly.
This is one of those.
We're bringing it to you.
Yeah. We made a podcast record right here.
Yes.
There you go. Well, is it time to do this?
I think so.
All right, let's get into this. This is Eddie Veliz, lead vocalist and guitarist of Kyng.
Yes.
Comforting interview.
That's what we want to be comfortable.
Don't hit me with anything stressful, man. I'll shit on you.
All right.
Is this the first interview you've ever done laying down? Or you've probably done one on the phone laying down, right?
Yeah, maybe. But this is the first in-person interview laying down, yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Well, so Breathe in the Water's been out almost a month. I mean, has the reception been great from fans?
Yeah.
I assume it has. I
honestly don't know how long it's been out. To me, it feels like it's only been a week. So that was pleasant. Ooh, so good. Yeah, so I mean, it's a new album to me. It's gonna be fresh for another 2 years, to me. So yeah, and the response has been awesome. Friends, family dig it. A lot of interviews and people who are reviewing the record. We've not heard any really bad stuff. Everyone's been positive and great, and some people blown away. Others people are like, yeah, this is awesome, and others are just, this is really cool. So there's no one that's been like, it sucks. And if there is, we've not heard it, so stay away.
Cool. Well, noticed, which I've noticed in the past records too. I mean, you guys have pretty expansive, and even on stuff like Show Me Your Love and Song for a Broken Mask and Not Enough, it's just they really take you to a place. Yeah. And that's the only way I'm bad at describing shit, so
I hear you.
I really like that, it just, I'm at work and it hits and I'm lifted. And that's awesome.
Well, that's what music is supposed to do, Art and creativity is supposed to take you there, if there's a band out there or an artist out there who's giving crap and it's not taking you anywhere, it's there's no substance, there's nothing behind it, so we definitely try to create riffs and lyrical content and melody that's gonna take the listener to a different place. Like, why do you wanna, exactly what you just said, you're at work and one of these songs come on and it just transfers you somewhere else. So that's great. It's what it's supposed to do.
Definitely.
How do you guys write as a trio, or do you write a lot of the stuff and bring it to the other guys, or how's that work?
I do a lot of the writing, a lot of the writing. So I guess I'm gonna say about 85 to 90% of it. Okay. Beppe, especially on this record, Tony was kind of out of commission, and he had a sort of a writer's block, if you will, and Beppe, definitely, my drummer Beppe, he came in and he had quite a few ideas that worked out, and I would come in with certain song riffs and ideas and melodies, and I'd bounce them off of him, and he'd just like, yeah, that's cool, let's move on with that, so he definitely helped out a lot, but I guess for the most part, I'll sit down with a riff and sit down with an idea and bring it to the guys, and if their face lights up when I show it to them, then I know we're going to move on with that and, create and finish that product. If they give you a face and go, oh, that's cool, then you just kind of put it by the wayside.
Have you ever had writer's block before?
Oh, yeah.
How do you deal with it? How do you come out of that rut?
A handful of times, I like to do, what I will do is just let's start listening to music outside my comfort zone. I mean, I love Black Sabbath, I love Led Zeppelin, I love Pantera, I love a lot of bands, and we all kind of get stuck in that comfort zone where we have certain bands we just listen to all the time. So I wasn't a big Beatles fan when I was younger, and I had some writer's block, and I was like, you know what, I'm not a big Beatles fan, let me get these records, so I ended up buying all the records and going into their first, second, third, fourth, all the way through, and I think the first 3 or 4 records I was just kind of like, man, I can't, this is too bubblegummy, it's too poppy, there's some stuff in there that was cool, but for the most part it was just like really late 50s, early 60s rock and roll, feels alright now, hold me tight. Anyhow, you get to like, little late, mid 60s, I guess, and there was a song that hit me like a ton of bricks, and it's I'm Only Sleeping by the Beatles, very mellow tune, very chill, and it's just a cool vibe song. And what hit me the most was the songs that they're doing. It's a song that they're playing, but you hear these vocal harmonies that come in and they just do this rad layer, and it's this really pretty 2-part harmony that's going over this really somber, really mellow song. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, that's beautiful, that's awesome. And then that opened me up to do songs like Takes Its Toll and Falling Down off the first record, which you would never guess that that's the song that will open you. You never know what's going to open you up, that inspiration hits you when it hits you. I have a lot of friends who just, they'll talk about how, oh man, every riff I write, I get high, or I do some sort of drug, or I'm shit-faced drunk when I wrote it, and I think you could eliminate all of that stuff, because inspiration's going to hit you whether you're drunk, high, or sober, no matter where you are. You can be on the shitter, and a riff's going to hit you, and you're like, oh fuck, I gotta record that, and you pull out your phone and you hum it into your memo pad on your whatever, and hopefully you do it justice, and you go back, and then you could write, on it. So it hits you whenever it wants to. Yeah. And, you're not, inspiration's not coming from you; it's coming from the world around you. So.
Nice.
Well, I don't like to tell artists when something sounds like something, just in case they don't like that band. But when I heard "Song for Broken Mask," it really reminded me of Temple of the Dog.
Cool.
So yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but
it's a great thing.
And the solo in that thing is totally kind of what you just said. It's kind of a somber mid-range thing, but that solo is real beautiful and just kind of
appreciate it, man.
Jumped out at me over everything on that album.
Thank you so very much. And that's funny because that song I wrote years ago, like from this really old song that we just kind of refurbished and recreated, and we're just like, that was a really cool song. As a matter of fact, when we were doing pre-production for Breathe in the Water, Machine, the producer, we went through all our songs that were going to go on the record, and that was the last one. We're like, hey, we have this one song. It's kind of an older guy, but, you want to take, he's like, just play it, see what happens, and we play it, and he was just like, dude, this song is great, so it made it to the record, and...
Well, what kept that song laying around so long? I mean, was this just the right time to do it?
Kind of, in a sense. I mean, we Tony and I were in a band a long time ago, and that's where I wrote that song, and this was maybe like 2003, 2004 or something like that. Yeah, so we would always talk about certain riffs, certain songs, and that was always one of them. It was really good. It was just a really good, solid song. But when we originally recorded it or wrote it, it was like 9 minutes long. So we had to cut it down, and finally, now that it's on this record, I think it's like 4 or 5 minutes. Still kind of a long song, but we finished it off. Yeah.
Well, talk about you're in today. Today's all the bands, metal, heavy stuff. It's a lot of stuff's real guttural and screamy, and you've got a voice.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, was that something conscious you wanted to do, or
100%.
when did you know you could sing, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we started. Again with that older band that I was talking about. We did have, it was kind of one of those like screamy, singy bands. And at that time, I think we were almost one of the first ones. That were doing that in LA, especially. But I remember I was screaming at some point, doing that really guttural stuff, and I worked myself into becoming good at it. But my singing voice was getting a little wrecked. There were certain notes that were like, bouting out, like where I would try to hit a note and it would just like dwindle in a certain area, and it was because I was doing the scream stuff, so I just eliminated it. I was like, I don't want to do that. And as a matter of fact, there's so many bands doing it that it doesn't make sense. It's oversaturated, especially that. I mean, it came down to a point where you could have a band who is fairly big, right? I'm not going to mention any names, but they could lose the singer who becomes like their icon, right? And that person disappears. They either leave the band or die. And they could just fit another guy in there, no fucking problem, with a guttural scream. Which to me kind of struck me as, well, that fucking band has no soul. If you could replace a singer that quick, there's no soul in that band. You know what I'm saying? And you could look at Alice in Chains, for instance, their singing, their harmonies, that whole thing was so amazing.
Yeah.
When that band fell apart, they couldn't find anybody to fit that guy's shoes for a very, very long time, And even the guy that they have now, he's doing a great job, but it's still not the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that being said, I knew that no matter what we did musically, whether it's thrash, whether it's rock and roll, whether it's super mellow acoustic country type vibe thing, as long as I'm being melodic over everything, we could do whatever we want musically, So that's what we did with Kyng. We have songs like Pristine Warning and Big Ugly Me, and then we have, Paper Heart Rose and, Takes Its Toll and Show Me Your Love. Like these songs that the only common denominator is my vocal, and singing over it, singing over everything,
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I want to see those motherfuckers replace me.
Yeah, that's right. Don't let them forget it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, you guys just finished this Clutch tour.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like getting up in front of Clutch fans and Zach fans that might not have known you? Did you get a great response? And
Oh, it was a great response, man. I mean, every night we would hammer it out, and we knew our job. We knew what we were there to do. We wanted to light up the place and definitely show our respect and give our respect to Zach and Blasco and Joey, who were in Black Sabbath, and Clutch, who are the best dudes ever, and they're mighty as fuck.
They are.
These dudes just they can go in any club, any bar, any arena, and fucking destroy it. Destroy it.
Yeah.
I'd always, every now and again, I'd run into Neil. And there's no description for the guy, They'd just be like, dude, you are a fucking very magical man. Like, that's the only description I could give him. He's amazing. That entire band is just something else,
They're such a blueprint for, like, just doing it themselves and how it should be done and just, anything.
And it says, but again, but are they? I mean, because if I was to do something exactly like Clutch, it wouldn't fucking work for me. It wouldn't work for you, and it wouldn't work for fucking like 800 other fucking bands.
Yeah.
Because there's probably that many bands who are trying to follow their footsteps, and it's not working. Because JP on drums, Neil on vocals, and Dan and Tim, the pillars, the wingmen,
Yeah.
There's just something magical about it, It's like this weird new age Cheap Trick, where you had the two nerdy guys and then the two rock and roll guys, but this is like two I feel like it's like two like office working dudes and two other guys from like the warehouse, you know.
That's awesome.
And they just destroy it every night. They're fucking amazing. They're amazing.
Definitely.
So talented. They're great. Great guys. Great people as well.
Yeah, I was at the Oklahoma City show, which unfortunately was one of the ones you guys missed.
I had to go. Yeah.
Then I saw, I think it was the show before, maybe Little Rock, where you got on stage and played Burning Beard with them.
I did.
So like, how did that come about? They just asked you to do it, or did you?
Yeah, you know what's funny
is
is that's kind of a long thing that happened years ago. I think our second tour with Clutch, Al Function, who's Clutch's guitar tech and monitor guy. We were doing a show somewhere in Illinois, and my bass player Tony had to leave because he had to go do some court shit. He had to take care of some stuff or whatever, and we didn't want to cancel the show. So we asked Al, their guitar tech, hey, you think you can play bass? And he's like, yeah, I'll totally do it, And he learned like 4 or 5 songs. He learned like a set, and we went ahead with him and did it. Well, when we were practicing and rehearsing and showing him those tunes in like these little hotel lobbies, Tim came up to me and we were just talking, and I was like, hey dude, you know what, that riff on Burning Beard, like how the hell do you play it? Because I know I was trying to play it on my own, so I was like, how do you play that song? And it's just one of those perfect riffs where the minimal amount of riff is the best. It's just enough, So I was overthinking it, and I'm like, how the hell do you play that stupid riff, And he's like, oh, it's like this. He showed me, he just plays it really quick, and I was like, oh, that's it? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, holy crap, this thing is so effective. It's such a great riff. And he's like, well, hey, I've never, he's like, I've always wanted to hear that song with 2 guitars, so you want to play with us? Yeah, sure, So that must have been 2-3 years ago, and I learned it really quick. And I was like super stoked, and I just kind of studied, and I was like, I got this. And so I guess the night after, he was just like, hey, let's do it. And I was like, cool. And we went into it, and he let me take a solo at the end. So fast forward now, he's like, hey, we're going to do Burning Beard. You want to play it? And I'm like, yes! And we kind of went over it really quick somewhere in, I want to say Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I played it the first time on this tour there.
Nice.
And every now and again, like, I guess every like third show or something, they'd be like, we're doing it here, you wanna? Yeah. And Dan would come up, hey, we're gonna do it, would you want to play with? And they were so nice and humble about it too, because every time they would like ask, it would be in such a way where like, well, if you want, if you want, they put their hands up and like, if you want, would you want to play? Well, I'm like, fuck yes, like. You don't have to be nice about it. You could just be like, point at the guitar, and I'll be like, yes, here I go.
You'd already know.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, having of collaborations and stuff, we saw Dime Bash, Jose.
Yeah.
Great choice on Revolution, because it seems like on a Pantera song to play, because it just seems like most bands, just
gravitate towards the ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I'm a huge Pantera fan. I love them to death. I mean, I really wish I could play a lot better to give Dimebag more justice. But "Revolution Is My Name" was one of our favorite songs. Actually, that album, "Reinventing the Still," was so heavy. It was so good. It's one of my top 3 for sure.
Yeah, it's one of the ones not a lot of people talk about. It's got some good stuff. And
I don't understand it because it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
If there's a band out there that's looking for a blueprint, that would be one of them. That record is so good from start to finish.
Definitely.
Yeah,
like guitar, and you've got to belong.
As a matter of fact, one of the big. I'm sorry to cut you off, but one of the big if you listen to "What I'm Made Of," and then that crawls into Reckoning Part 2.
Yeah.
That was like a total homage to the end of Reinventing the Still.
Yeah.
That whole fucking bit, I even forget what ours is at this point. So it was a total.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was an homage to that whole ending, and we're fucking stupid nerd fans, you know.
Hell yeah.
What are a few of your other favorite Pantera songs?
It's weird because there's a lot of certain sections that are my favorite. You know, it's not necessarily the entire song, but like, you know, how the hell best it for tomorrow? You'll never be the father I am. Yeah, that. We're fucking you back. We're fucking you back. We're fucking you back. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Can't stay still.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so fucking good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Fucking great riffs, great songs.
Yes. Well, I had a question.
Yeah.
Obviously, yes.
You've had quite a few, pal.
Only a couple more, we promise. Far Away. Are you gonna play it live ever? That's a badass song.
Really? You know what? It's not one of our favorites, you
Really?
know.
It's his favorite, and that's all he ever talks about. For years. Or 2 years, whatever.
Fuck, Far Away. You don't owe me anything.
Hey, that works right there.
Yeah, you know what? There's like two other people that maybe have asked for that song, you know. So it's crazy.
One day.
Yeah, one day. We'll
Nice.
see. Depending, you know, if we ever get to that like Foo Fighter status, you know, like
You got to fill up 2.5 hours.
yeah, we'll crank that one out at some point.
Nice.
But there's a lot of songs that we write that we think are great at the time,
Yeah.
and then they just don't get the feedback that we want. Like you would probably be like the second, third dude, or it'd be like,
Wow.
that's a good one. You know, we get a lot of Stone Shut, Self-Medicated Man,
Yeah.
The Ode people really dug. It's funny because our least favorite song on that record we play the most because that's the song that the record label pushed. You know, Electric Halo. We're just like, ugh. That's not the coolest song on that record. You know, the coolest song on that record is like Burn the Serum.
Yeah.
And Self-Medicated Man, you know, and then Sunday Smile's an awesome track. You know, like these are killer rock tracks that the label just overlooked because they didn't feel that Electric Halo performed as well as it should have when it wasn't even our idea to put that on the record. So, but you know, just like any band, we always get fucked in the end.
Nice.
Well, you mentioned Tim talking about two guitars on that song. Do you ever have any music that you thought could use two guitars, or you just?
I mean, all our songs could use two guitars. You know, I mean, there's never a riff idea that I do on the record where I don't believe that there should be one guitar on it. You know, it all kind of depends. I always try to come from the school of Jimmy Page, where he just wanted an army of guitars on every riff on every song. So I love that. You know, harmonies and alternate. Don't worry about those guys. Alternate strumming and rhythms in a song, you know. So, you know, I guess if anybody would ever want to come out and jam, we would never say no. You know, yeah, come on out. I've always, even songs like Falling Down and shit like that, but like whoever we're touring with, like, hey, you want to come out? Like, come jam with us. You know, come hang out with us. So.
Nice.
Bleed Easy, you know, that was a very like bluesy vibe song, and every now and again we'd get a Bishop from Crowbot. When we had them out on a tour, he'd come out and we'd do like a little solo blues thing and back and forth jam. You know, so yeah.
Right on.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys.
There you go, Eddie Veliz from Kyng. Thank you so much to him for taking the time to do that. Thank you to Pepe for helping facilitate that. Thank you to Claire from Razor and Tie for setting it up. And, of course, thank you to you for listening.
Definitely.
You know.
And I got a little 15-second Far Away jam.
That's true.
I gotta love that.
Yeah, like he actually sang your...
You don't owe me anything.
Hey, that works right there.
Is that your favorite Kyng song?
One of the...
close to
I
it?
think so. I think so far it's my favorite one.
You found out from him that you're like one of three people?
And that's fine. That's fine. But this new album is really starting to just take over that.
Yeah.
I'll say. But yeah, I mean, we met all three of them. Pepe kind of helped put it together. Great guys. Can't thank you guys enough. It was awesome.
Yeah. And I can't stress enough that you got to pick up Breathe in the Water.
Yes.
If you like rock music, you should like it. I say that about other stuff, but I mean it. All killer, no filler.
That's right.
That's what this album has. And it's got all kinds of stuff. It's got the heavy stuff, and it's got the, like we talked about with a couple of songs, the lighter, more beautiful stuff.
Exactly.
So anyway, check that out and check out the previous two albums as well. And while you're doing that, check us out on soundcloud.com/thunder-underground. We got 95 previous episodes. We've had on guys from Corrosion Conformity, Drowning Pool, Soil, The Obsessed, Megadeth, Crowbar, Scattered Hamlet, like I mentioned, has been on here 3 times.
Yeah.
You mentioned Insight earlier. Richie's been on here twice.
That's right. We've had guys from Overkill, Miss May I, COC.
That's the first thing I said.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
See, we get into these, we're listing them off every week, and I just
forget what has been said.
Yeah, because there's so many, and we're getting to be at a good point now. So
yeah, do you like 80s rock? We've got a lot of that too.
I know I do.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So there's something for everybody. Just scroll back, crack open a beer, get a nice hot cup of coffee, something, whatever you like, and just kind of scroll through and pick one you think you might enjoy, because you're probably gonna.
There you go. thethunderunderground.com is the website. We've also got Instagram, YouTube, like we mentioned earlier, Twitter, and of course Facebook is /TheThunderUnderground. Get on there and like us. Find out updates daily.
That's right.
And something else we probably should have talked about earlier, but if you have not heard the New Testament album, Brotherhood of the Snake,
shit, man.
This thing is fucking slamming.
Yeah.
Testament they were never not back, but the previous 2 albums they've done since Skolnick came back, and they, what was it, Formation of Damnation, and what was the other one, Dark Roots of Thrash, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Or Dark Roots of Earth, whatever. It was like, those 2 albums are great, but this one is just like another level.
Get your helmet on.
Yeah.
It's insane. He's kind of Chuck Billy's kind of bringing back the death of your vocals a little bit and stuff. And I mean, it's just,
and the riffs are just fucking off the charts.
They'll peel the paint off the walls. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And just, look at that. That's like, now we've had, we talked about Death Angel because we had Ted from Death Angel on our podcast.
Go listen to that one.
That new album is unbelievable.
Yeah.
We've mentioned many times that Anthrax's new album is one of our favorites of the year. Megadeth's new album as well. Those are 4 of the big hitters from the heyday of thrash.
That's right.
Overkill's got a new album that's coming out like in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Unless it's already out and I'm
I don't think so.
But it's coming out this month sometime. And I've heard, the singles on Sirius, that's badass.
Yeah.
Those guys don't put out stuff that's not badass.
That's right.
And then we've got Metallica this week as well. So now you've got 6, basically every major band from thrash. And then last year we had new Exodus, new Slayer.
Yeah.
So
it's a good time for that shit, man. It really is.
Time period for thrash because every one of those albums has been great.
Exactly.
And we can safely assume that Metallica and Overkill's will be as well.
Yes.
So, thrash.
Do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, thank you for listening. Thank you to Eddie from Kyng. thethunderunderground@gmail.com is our email. Submit music, buy t-shirts and koozies, so on and so forth.
Or nude pictures.
Okay.
Of females. Okay. Unless you're Trent and, dudes are okay.
All right. If it's John Crosby, I guess. I don't know. You just made this totally weird.
That's what I do, man.
All right. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.